think I was sick the other day. It was very cold the other day. Okay, I dream, and what kind of a dream? Okay. Anyhow, so I biked down a hill and come maybe 5 or 6 of these electro scooters, and they zoom ahead of me, like really downhill. Me with my bicycle, and they go in ahead of me. That was one of the dream elements that came after I woke up. Because I can't even say whether this was a good night or a bad night, whether I dreamt because I was dreaming in the morning. No. Putting my camera down. It's a social dream, for sure. Because I was also dreaming about a bunch of painting, plural, about languages, translations, transitions from one to the other language. I was also dreaming from and also dreaming from swimming. Voila, now I have it. Swimming in the ocean, saving somebody, but also was dreaming briefly being on some wall. It's really high and kind of going down, and obviously I suffer from vertigo. So those 4 things, kind of amazing. And overriding subject, a form of social anxiety, to lose track with the world, to be totally isolated, to have nobody to talk to, totally isolated. Nobody knows you, to have no exhibition, nobody knows you. In that sense, me. And no gallery, nobody to talk to, totally isolated. My kind of nightmarish reality, because that's kind of how I feel. Nobody talking to me. Nobody emailing me. Obviously, not meeting anybody. Not knowing anybody. Being abandoned by everybody. That's kind of what I was dreaming. And again, This is kind of what I fear, weirdly enough. Now let's talk about this a little bit. I was very scared how the mother of the children was slowly talking and really with a nasal, calculated mind explaining me options in terms of psychological states and we know she has authorities. She has authority to call people this or that, whether I do talk to her or not. And since I was once in the psycho unit, I feel, and I feel this is definitely the case, I could be sent back any moment simply based on a call. Now, am I paranoid or not? Wow. Okay, now, is my situation really so bad? No, not at all. Why? Because I still teach for another 7 years. And even if it's only 6 years, I know from experience that students and teachers maintain relationships even into long old age. That's a fact. And they try to help each other. That's a fact. Now, my 2 children is definitely the same. I love them. They love me. And that is how it will continue. Plus, another reality. People are really social beings, human social beings. They continue having relationships. Yet another gallery I like that. Yet another reality is that social, professional connections will be alive. Yet those friendships I have been able to maintain through all these lives, through all those lives here. And then I am not yet at the end of my Latin. So, what was that dream for? One more time, I think it's a form of mirroring my current condition, my current life of isolation students are far away. My galleries and friends from the gallery are a little bit unresponsive, at least not the response I used to have. Let's just call it this way. Now, are there other professional contacts I have? Oh yes. But also busy with their own networks, meaning the professional networks I was once in, currently, but currently means for some years now, and it's not necessarily getting better. Less and less. Meaning, I recently had great encounters again, like meet with the people, particularly those I know since I'm here from day one, meaning over 30 years. And they start having bodily issues, okay? And I had a form of bodily issue when I met a new person who had a similar fate. And we talked along in the cold outside recently. Now, the fact that I dream and that I put these things online could be a reason why maybe certain people distance from me. So comes the question, why do I do this? Okay, so here's the answer. As well as I can offer. A, I dream Money and Dreams, a book I once wrote, basically the same. Freud and how you can trash Freud, and that's kind of something that is the case. Even though his writings are good, brilliant, excellent, and much more complex than people think what it could be. And yet he was only one writer, because when psychoanalysis went from Vienna to Paris to London to the United States, that Institute of Psychoanalytics, etc. What was it? It was a club. Now it's a religion for some, and it has not only subversions, under like people wrote under the impression of Freud, even submarines. So maybe I am a submarine, brings me back to height, brings me back to go down and experience height. So when I was a child, I experienced height. Then I was climbing and I shit in my pants while doing climbing. And always this psychological gamble with fear and height and isolation. Has accompanied me. And speed and immigration now brings us to money, to sales, Anna sale, text, and money for sure, one of the best podcasts. Do I want to see this as a podcast? Maybe. I'd say yes. Do you want to see it as an ongoing video? Yes. An ongoing reality soap video about an artist. Who the damned heck is it? Well, me, Rainer Ganal, and it's called Pants. No problem making pants. Yeah, then I don't want to lose my tank top. I saw it brief and recently. So you see, I still, while I talk, I have the capacity to produce images that are just mental images. You might call it daydreams. You might call it phantasmas. Even though phantasmagorical illusions, that's kind of something Benjamin liked to say. Illusions and phantasmagoria, an amazing term. Phantasma, a phantasma and fantastic. I'd say that anybody who has to deal with my biography, maybe, no? Or should we say, should the worst thing happen, should I really get really old that I really pass away? No, I mean, I see that starting happening with people around me. We lost already a couple of people. Damn shit. Well, that's why I do this. Exactly. That's why I simply record shit. I mean, shit being my dreams. Put it on. Plus, my children, when they get older, maybe one day they want to know then shit about me, or yes, they are interested in me. They will or they will not. Tu veux or tu ne veux pas. That is a song. Tu veux ou tu ne veux pas. That's simple. Fais la tête. Tu veux ou tu ne veux pas? Willst du oder willst du nicht? Do you wanna come or not? You come or not? Voila. Most people, like I would say some of the longest conversation I had was with a person called Peña, and Spanish speaking on the young side, Chonchi, gone currently. Is she gone because she started to listen to my shit? Or she just is too busy? Or it's too absurd for her? Or did she fall in love with somebody else? Or is it jealousy? Because maybe she realized I talked to another person who had, like her, like me, I shouldn't mention any names because I just didn't know a woman, a name, somebody I met, I mentioned earlier, somebody I met in the damned hospital where the ex-girlfriend, the mother of my children, where she started also a process that made me look insane. Had she not done that, things could be much more normal. Had I not been in the psychotraumatic station, I'd been less desperate for communication, maybe more relaxed, but bring it back to even earlier time. It also had to do with the fact that my art couldn't sell. Maybe I was too impatient, or it is simply hybris, it's called in Latin. I mean, it's Greek, by the way, but not hybrid, but hybris. A term that indicates like delusional grandiosity, okay? It's in English called la grandeur de la France, like that, okay? The gloriousness of a state, how stupid. The gloriousness of whatever, America first, Germany first, or who is gonna win the football. Supposedly people need to be in the business of winning and go on a winning bullshit scale. Well, I'm rather losing character. Anyhow, that's how I feel, because when they just pick you up from the street and imprison you randomly and drag you against your will. And when you go to court and they repeatedly re-evoke that insanity claim, that terminology of a medical discourse that can imprison you randomly after an evaluation of what some ex called a psychiatric evaluation. And I was lured into it. I was damned. Fucking stupid. I accepted an offer. Why did I accept it last year or the year before? Why? Well, because I thought there is a way to talk, a way to make good, a way to explain, a way to sit there in an office that supposedly was neutral. But when I entered into the shitty office after the end, $600 plus 60 for taxes, psychiatric evaluation that the lady needed to have me put away, and that subsequently happened also. So it's not just paranoia, you know what I mean? It's not just anxiety. It is also not just an interpretation. It is also not just a dream, a nightmare. It is a reality. It was a fucking reality. And then once you have that reality, I'd say within a medical, clinical context, those dogs, just call them dogs, beasts, okay? Beasts with scissors and medical jargon. Fucking professional, just let them go fucking professional. Because you can tell I'm angry at that shit. Well, those assholes, they have the legal authority, from within a medical handbook, from within a medical, psychological, pharmaceutical, industrial complex in relationship to people who claim they have relationships with me and are concerned about my well-being. That fucking shit can be reinstated, I think, again, in the most nastiest way it happened. Not with a phone call, Rainer, how are you? But in a call to 911 and in a fucking damned, a car, an emergency car that brought me over to the mental clinic. In the most disgusting way, when I was maybe really concerned about finances, yes. And am I now concerned about finances? Yes. Now, I'd rather have a journalist here interviewing me. But where are the journalists currently? Okay, there are European journalists that will send me questions. I'm waiting for these questions to come next week. Because now we have a weekend. And I have to be careful because sometimes I look so much forward to events and then I'm a day too early or even 2 days too early or maybe a day too late. But I have the feeling today's Saturday. I think that is the day of really today. Definitely June. Time advances slowly, but it advances. Well, yes. I usually know how to take care of me, or care of myself, and that brings me to my children, which is also of big concern to me. Money, education, their well-being, their well-being. When parent alienation is now really more and more a fact. When, from both sides, from two lovers, ex-lovers, from two fucking ex-lovers, let me just use the F word, sorry for that. Insanity claims are putting to effect. I use effectively. Based on lies, manipulations, and their smart maneuvering. Both stand fucking smart ladies for not calling them bitches, because that would be a claim for freedom of press. Or is that a violation of 2 restraining orders I have to stay away? Those videos I cannot send to anybody, but I can make them available. That shit should be possible. Now, if it's used against me, well, it depends. I don't mention any names, so you see, it's a little bit like with Apple and their meta data. Andre Schiff, a representative, somebody in the political machine, okay, a Democrat at least, representing the majority, I think in the House, or whatever it is, the political apparatus, Republicans and their extremism, and Democrats and their form of being less extreme. Yet, there's a peanut metadata data from Apple. Secretly and not so secretly, and Apple has no option but to comply. They fight it off a little bit, as well as they can, but they have no clue what is on it. I mean, they only have metadata, the rest, forget about it. That's what they say. But, interesting, no? If trying to deal with my devices and my mess I have in my life because I was in a psychiatric station, yes, or because I couldn't sell my artwork on time to a price that kind of makes sense, or we simply go back to miscommunications because I wanted too much of a price. At the time it could have been sold. Just sell the shit so it's gone. I should have done that. At least a little bit of money for the gallery. Supposedly I gave the wrong price. Supposedly I was an asshole when Kai tried. So Kai tried very much. I'm very thankful. By the way, it's Kai Matsumi, a long-time friend. I talked many years with. My most longest, most amazing professional contact, friend and profession, which is like fabulous, a dream come true. Till he broke down, it became a nightmare. Because personal and private shit started to collapse around us for various reasons. But let me just say one thing. In terms of the direction of things, he went up. Relatively speaking, really up. He's now a real fucking great art dealer. International art Basel, selling also great artists, even people I was teaching at the time. Plus friends I was able to, artists, there's one who shows now, this weekend, I think tomorrow, Sunday, given the fact that I assume it's today, Saturday, for sure it is, I know it, because yesterday was Friday. How do I know it's Friday? Because they did great handout for free food to the neighborhood here in Ireland. Happens only once a week. I got a lot of pears. I got basic foods. Even a bit of milk allows me to live for nearly nothing. Because economic times are really hard for me. Plus the isolation. Plus the stress I have with credit cards because my credit has been erased here. Fucking damn shit. Because of identity scams. Yet there's no way to explain this. A bank that don't give a shit. Why and when shit was raided and shit was stolen and checks were stolen and $63,000 were stolen, and yet one more time, only a few weeks ago, I actually do remember it exactly, the 19th of fucking May. Coinbase walked me out into with quite a bit of money, I would say, given my current state of not having money. And then my friends, who also suffered from those fights and those stupid, then So that's the end. That's a fucking damned situation. And now we have already 3 people within a week. I talked to quite a bit, 4 within a week who had similar experiences. But Devon, who I know for so long, and her husband, it's her husband, who is concerned. In my case, it's my ex, the mother of the children, who used it strategically. The effect on Devon, and that is amazing, is, my friend, that she got rid of a problem that was eating her up. Then she was also, I would say, eclipsing with a career that is fabulous and a family background that is delirious. Yet I do understand, she faces them similar challenges where from within her own family. Serious, literally serious. Similar to mine claims for internment into a clinic, a detox, a whatever center where you lose your autonomy, where they medicate you to hell for not calling you drug you against your own will with shit, which in so many cases I observed inside when I was inside the New York Presbyterian. And when I think about, for example, Geraldine, I also talked recently to, who knows the shit house from her own experience. Also a long-time friend. Also, in her case, an ex-lover. A long time ago. Well, and she has kids. And those kids are now Master of the Universe. And are really interesting. All these parallel stories with us. So hence, I could really ask, what do we all do wrong? Those who are in this fucking state of mind. And then there is even yet another ex called Momoyo, who also managed to survive. And why other people out to hold everything against me? Why are those strings of interconnectedness so damn complicated to narrate? synchronicities with huge discrepancies in wealth accumulation, and what's even more challenging, because of capitalist society, everyone's simply opposite clear. I would say accelerate differences to the point it's kind of nauseatic, where some people lose and others win. And now I ask myself the question, loser or winner, and I have to say, I shouldn't really complain. I did a few things, absolutely. Yet, I keep doing more things. So currently, you're just a spilling shit. Well, I reflect what I am about to hopefully manage to get fucking behind me yet. It's such a damn fucking killer to have this fucking place here. To keep it, to not get it ripped out underneath my ass, to afford it, to fix it, to deal with it, and then all the artwork in here. I mean, what the fuck? When will somebody want those? Finally, paying a little bit of shit, paying a little bit money for shit. And how many years have I been learning to paint? Damn shit. Why is it so difficult? How long does it take? And why are certain people doing so well and others so miserable? And why is at least that book of fucking relevance? I'd say the question whether a painting is relevant or not to its own times, whether it is collected or not, whether it is just decoration or not, whether it deserves to be in an institution or not. Like one that has obviously a great use for that shit. I mean, art I call shit in the sense that I kind of refer to my own work as damn shit. So far nobody wants it. I mean, it was shown, obviously, quite prominently shown within, I mean, I keep saying this, within a certain nationalist context, like Austrian museums, and sometimes even in the United States, but relatively little. It was shown internationally. I mean, I have to say, I was showing some of my shit at huge international exhibitions, and then throughout the world, even, I mean, not only Venice and Guangzhou and Seoul in Spain, and what the fuck, permanently somewhere plus international educational currents. I mean, teachings, you know, many years ago, where they gave talks at the Bombay the right thing to say. I'd say a little side. I'd say a little employment. I'd say a little definitely not so bad things. Question is, did I do the right thing? Mistakes in the past that catch up with you later. Mistakes in the present wow, 50 minutes already. Who's gonna listen to this shit? Can even hear it. So funny, in 50 minutes. The iPhone just totally vibrated. Yeah, that was a dream. Repeat it again. The vertical thing, go down a slope. I was running in the end. I was just running down. I said, I don't want to be scared. I just run down the fucking shit. Stone wall, whatever it was, and like boom, ran down. Then, what else? You know, on the internet you lose friends also. Because just talking about Stonewall, this other guy I talk quite a bit, who's supposed to have now a show at the damned museum there. Like, I should go and find out when his opening is. Or would he invite me? Maybe not. Anyway, I could find him, and that's what I'm gonna do after that film. Ask him, when is your damn show? Because now it's really June, it's coming up. And then, what else? Yeah, the dream about going downhill, going through Central Park, going downhill, and people come just and go behind me. I mean, overtake me and go down faster, and they're staying in me with a little bicycle behind it. A very common dream of being overtaken by others from behind, younger generations. Obviously clear. My students even, of course, brings me to other places, but I wouldn't make it longer than an hour. I mean, that's it. I mean, put it on Instagram. No, not Instagram. It's called YouTube. And another dream development that definitely money and James, continuation of my research, if you want to call it like that, research project, dealing now with my own memories, my own dreams, my own career, my own history, in the sense that it's so fucking complicated I can't even tell it. So I do it anyhow. Something like I do now with my paintings. I have no money to commission people painting, or maybe only sometimes. I switch now to NPR and listen what they have to say, and then an entire life learning, listening, and then see what comes out. And hopefully something comes out. I mean, something is already out. And there are some little things. I mean, after all those damn stupid news paintings I do were at least shown once at MoMA PS1 and in some other museums. And even some shit made it into permanent collections. Thank you, Kai. Of large museums, I would say American museums at least, no? Pretty good. Anyhow, well, it seems to be already forgotten, but you know what I'm saying. Well, maybe something comes out again. just continue doing it a little bit, and that's kind of my strategy. Just continue doing it. Observing how the artwork gets bigger and how more classes collect and how the artwork becomes a kind of international gigantic machine for making and losing wealth, okay? Equivalent to generations in the past. Equivalent, definitely already prevalent. I mean, look, it's so easy. Prevalent is maybe the word. I don't even know stupid English. I mean, a tendency to accelerated already in the 60s, definitely in the 60s, if not earlier. But the history of art is a history of collecting, of a history of museums, a history of financial diversifications, of internationalization, a history of, oh my god, I have to stop this now. I'm suddenly talking about the history of collecting and capitalism, just shit, Manhattan capitalism, maybe international shit. Anyhow, let's just call it a video by Rainer Canal, an artist who currently in a deep state of crisis. Okay, hence trying to be very private, and then it's so public. Isn't that funny, hiding in public, to catch up with it later or have somebody catch up with it, okay? So I make sure the shit is not gonna be more than 60 minutes, so I stop it now. By the way, New York in June 2021.